Hello everyone, it's Kieran with Thrifted Living. So for today's video, I would like to share with you an easy and inexpensive way to organize that massive pile of crayons that I know you have laying somewhere around your house or somewhere in your classroom. So if you would like to learn how I took this massive pile of crayons and organized it using products from the Dollar Tree, stay tuned. I get a lot of my supplies from my classroom at garage sales, but the problem with getting them at garage sales and thrift stores is that they usually don't come in the box, which leads to a mess like this. It's great to be able to find these supplies at a good price. It doesn't really work well in my classroom when my students are trying to find a certain color or a certain shade and they can't find it in a giant bin of crayons. In order to help my students for this upcoming year and in order to help me get a little more organized in my classroom, I decided to tackle this project once and for all. For this project, you need some bins from the Dollar Tree, and I actually found them in white. I knew that I was going to need several of these bins, so I made sure to get them in a package deal. So I was able to get these bins in a package of 3. I also picked up some white foam board, and for this project, I picked up 2 sheets. You will also need a pair of scissors or something else really sharp that you can use to cut the foam board with. I decided to lay the baskets out 3 wide and 4 tall. Once I laid them out and saw how much room they would be taking up, I put them on top of the foam board and actually lined them up in the far left corner, like the bottom left-hand corner, just so that I didn't have to do more cutting than I needed to. I used the bottom left cut edges so that I wouldn't have to do a ton of extra cutting. Once I did that, I took another piece of foam board and lined it up with the sides of the basket just to see how much extra room I would need. I wanted to make sure that the foam board that would be pushing up against the sides of the basket wasn't too close, making the baskets kind of buckle. I traced it on both sides. So after I did that, I just took an open pair of scissors and just cut along the line. It was really easy to do. The one thing that you have to watch out for is that the foam board can kind of like disintegrate. That's not the right word for it, but little pieces can fall out of it if you're not careful and you don't want to take too much out of it. So after I measured out the base, then I also measured out the sides. I just took a piece of foam board and stood it next to the baskets and then took a pencil and traced how tall they would be. I did have a little extra foam board from cutting out the base, but I decided not to use it because it didn't have a nice sharp edge. I used those sharp edges on that new piece so that I didn't have to do any extra cutting. Once I did that, it was time to assemble the box. Originally, when I was creating this project in my head, I thought that I would either use E6000 or hot glue for this project. However, when it was time to actually assemble it, in my head, the best thing that I thought I could use for it was packing tape. And luckily, I had some packing tape on hand, so I actually used the packing tape to attach the foam side boards to the base. At the beginning of setting everything up, it was kind of difficult because the piece didn't have much structure to it, but the more pieces that I put on, the easier it got. One thing that was really helpful for me was to make sure that I reinforced the inside and the outside. So to do that, I would just take a piece of tape and spread it out between the 2 pieces. And I would just take the sideboard and push the tape, securing it on the bottom and on the side. And I would also do that on the outside. I wanted to just really make sure it was reinforced on both parts. Once the box was set up, it was time to check and see how the baskets fit in it. Another thing that changed with this project is that I originally thought that I would be taking the baskets and gluing them into the box, but then realizing how easily they went in and out and how sturdy they did feel inside of the box, I decided not to. And then that way, if my students wanted to take a couple of the bins out with certain colors, they could, and then they could just put it right back in. And one more step before I go in and do the fun part, which is putting all the crayons inside the bins, I decided to decorate the organizer. And I actually used some products that I got at Dollar Tree and some products that I got at Big Lots. And I just decorated the sides of the organizer. I didn't bother to decorate the inside because you wouldn't really be able to see it, but I just took some of that paper tape and wrapped it around the outside. And I also used some silver washi tape on the outside as well. And now the fun part, organizing all of those crayons. I had so much fun organizing them. There's just something so therapeutic about organizing things, and especially when it's something easy like organizing crayons. This project was so much fun and it was so easy to do. Now that my organizer is finally done, I would like to take you on a quick tour of it. So as you can see here on the side, I have some decorative tape. Right here I have washi that I actually got at Big Lots a few years ago. And then right here I have some decorative paper tape that I got at the Dollar Tree. And this is actually what it looks like at the store. It's the Jot brand. They had it in another pattern, but I liked this diamond shape better. So that's what I chose to use. I placed the paper tape in the middle and I lined the top and the bottom with the washi tape because I liked how it kind of balanced it out. And I did that on all 4 sides. And then in the center is where I keep all of the crayons. I really love these little baskets for organizing crayons. I think they're just the perfect size. If I push them all to one side, you can kind of see that there is still a decent amount of room in there, but I think that they're just the perfect size. Dollar Tree does have a couple other sizes of these, and they actually have them in a couple other different colors as well. I believe they had them in blue as well, but I really liked the white. And these do come in a 3-pack. For the sake of this organizational system, I'm just putting similar colors together just so that I don't have to have a ton of different baskets with each specific color. Another reason that I like this system is because I feel like sometimes people will get rid of crayons that have a lot of life left in them. For example, this pink has been torn off, you know, it's been really, really well used, but it still has a lot of good life left in it. I think that some people may be more apt to keeping the crayons if they're in a system that is organized and easy to see and where you know exactly where everything is. I feel that this system is really pretty and it's pleasing to the eye, and it might encourage you to keep those smaller crayons that have been well loved but still have a lot of life left in them. I'm just so excited about how this turned out. I hope that you enjoyed seeing how I cleaned up my giant mess of crayons using products from the Dollar Tree. From start to finish, this project took me a couple hours to do, but I feel like it was definitely a good investment of time. I am also so happy to be able to share this with my students in my classroom. I know that they are going to love how organized and neat this is. I also did this project with colored pencils, and if you would like to see how that turned out, you can check out my blog at thriftedlivingblog.com. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at thriftedliving, and if you don't have an Instagram but would like to stay up to date with what I am doing, you can follow me on Facebook at Thrifted Living page. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!